And now human rights lawyer Neri Colmenares joins us to discuss the latest developments in the International Criminal Court. Good morning, attorney, and thanks for being here on Morning Matters.
Thank you, Pauline. Good morning to your viewers.
Okay, so attorney, the ICC prosecutor has now named 8 incumbent and former officials, including Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bongo. And just from the victim's standpoint, how significant is this development?
Oh, this is very significant because in the first place, the prosecutor actually named 9. The prosecutor named 8, but the 9th is other high-ranking PNP officials and government officials. So that also opens it up to other co-perpetrators later, maybe in the regional level, regional PNP. So very significant because President Duterte is a co-perpetrator. Therefore, he needs a co-perpetrator too in order to commit the crime. So, and then you're right, they devised the common plan and became members either of the DDS during the mayoralty period of the president and later on part of the national network. That's what the prosecutor said during the presidential campaign. So it can open up a new list of co-accused and warrants of arrest and, of course, charges.
I think Attorney Cristina Conti also clarified this, attorney, that this is not the first time the ICC released this document containing the charges. It's just that last time, a lot of the details were redacted. Tama po ba yun, attorney? And what does the unredacting of names signal this time around? Does it indicate that the ICC now has stronger and more sufficient evidence against the co-perpetrators?
Yes, Attorney Conti is right. The first document, which is the DCC, the document containing the charges, only redacted the names of the 8. But of course, the other PNP officials was also there. Therefore, we knew for a fact that it will expand later on. So yes, for us, there has been a level of evidence achieved, and that's what I think happened here. The prosecutor has now named the other co-perpetrators of Duterte. And for us, there are victims who may have personal experiences with these other co-perpetrators, not just President Duterte, but the way it was implemented nationwide. So the other victims are also welcome in that sense. That is the other significance of this, because the other victims can now come out also and say, yes, this particular police chief did this, killed somebody. So now meron na silang parang isang mukha na pwede nilang sabihin, iyan ang responsable sa pagpatay ng kaanak ko.
But attorney, with more names now out in the open and some even still in public office, does that mean they will automatically face charges? Will charges follow? Could they be actually facing arrest warrants from the ICC now that they've been named as co-perpetrators?
Well, the ICC has not announced anything. So the ICC is very strict as to level of confidentiality. It may be presumed that because the investigation seems to have arrived at a certain level wherein they were already named, it can be presumed, of course, that a request for a warrant of arrest is forthcoming. But actually, we don't know that. It's something that the ICC would know, and we will only be aware of that once it's executed here, as in the case of President Duterte. The ICC, under the rules, under the Rome Statute, has what is called the pre-indictment warrant of arrest, meaning to say, there is still an investigation ongoing, but the ICC felt that a warrant is necessary, then it can issue the same. So, I really hope that the confirmation of charges hearing will result positively on the part of the victims, meaning to say the charges will be confirmed. Doon lang kasi magkakaroon ng linaw kung may additional warrants na. Siguro, ito lang, tingin ko lang, baka naman iniisip ng ang ICC, hintayin muna natin ma-confirm. Kung ma-confirm, tsaka natin itugtong yung iba na, ilabas na natin yung warrant kung saan ma-confirm sa February 23.
Well, on the part of Senator Bongo, he already denied the accusations, calling them baseless, attorney, no? And even a former Justice Secretary, Vitaliano Aguirre, gave his side and denied his involvement in this so-called common plan. Sabi pa nga po niya, he was even an instrument in the search for justice of some of the victims. And that lawyering for the president is not a crime in itself. What do you make of that, attorney? No? And what would the prosecution need to prove if they want to prove the liability involvement of the co-perpetrators?
Well, the prosecutor has alleged first, of course, that there is a common plan. And the members of the common plan are these people. The second is President Duterte has provided logistics and weapons and funds to fund the entire operation. So anybody who may not have participated actually in the shooting but helped in the giving of logistics, funding, can be actually a co-perpetrator. The second is the prosecutor mentioned creating a system of impunity wherein the perpetrators are allowed to go scot-free. Now, this could involve the Department of Justice, right? So they're not being prosecuted, etc. So that forms the other co-accused, the Justice Secretary in this case, may be implicated on that particular aspect of the common plan. There is, of course, the third aspect, which is ordering and disseminating the policy on the list and so on. Anybody who participated in these activities of President Duterte could be charged also. Now, it must be noted that President Duterte made a lot of admissions. In fact, sometimes pointing to his co-perpetrators, diba? In public. So that is the problem of the co-perpetrators, because President Duterte has practically admitted so many things and pointed to some of them actually that I guess that is the main gist of the evidence here, and it is up for the co-perpetrators to say, yeah, we were part of that system and network, but we didn't know about it, we didn't do it, or whatever. But the fact is the prosecutor has now a firm belief that a system of impunity and a structure and a policy, a widespread policy all over the country is there. And any one of the 8 co-perpetrators may be part of that policy, structure, and command. So, yeah, I guess that's, I think, the basis of the prosecutor there.
Well, the document containing the charges did elaborate on this alleged structure of power and the chain of command. Right, attorney? They even said that former President Duterte sat at the apex and exercised de facto authority over police units and alleged hitmen. But is that enough to establish criminal liability, especially in the threshold of the ICC in establishing crimes against humanity?
Yes, that's enough. In the Philippines, you have the equivalent of conspiracy here. The agreement of one is of all binds the other, the others who agreed to the plan, so to speak. That's conspiracy here. They call it, co-perpetrator there. But it's the same thing. If you were able to prove in the Philippines that this person met with another person, they discussed the killing of a third person, and then they decide to do it, that's conspiracy. So the same thing with the ICC. There is a common plan, you all agreed with it, and you started killing people, and you decide to commit it, and you provided logistics, you provided a system of impunity, etc., then you will be really liable, not just in the Philippines, but even in the ICC.
But for crimes against humanity, attorney, I understand that intent and knowledge are quite vital and crucial. What if the defense, okay, so let's anticipate some of the defense arguments that they can raise here. What if they argue that the campaign was a legitimate anti-drug operation and that any deaths, any killings were just unintended excess? How would that play out?
Yes. The crime against humanity requires na may intent ang perpetrator, of course. Pero ang definition naman ng ICC ng intent or command responsibility for that matter ay yung aware ka ng nangyayari tapos wala kang ginawa. It is within your power pero wala kang ginawa. So halimbawa, Chief PNP ka, nagpapatayan sa buong Pilipinas, tapos yung mga nire-report ng mga kapulisan mo, wala kang ginawa na hindi mo, itolerate mo siya. So, pwede ka pa rin dyan. Hindi na ganun ka, ganun ka parang direct na i-prove mo na wala talaga akong knowledge. Alam mo, ang intent difficult to prove eh. It is proven by your actions eh. Kaya, para sa amin, yung intent, they will claim it of course doon sa kaso. I think the prosecutor might depensa. Pero ito, Duterte mismo lang muna. Si Duterte, siya ang topic ng confirmation of charges eh. I don't think he can ever claim na wala siyang intent. Hindi pwede talaga yun. Yun munang madadali dyan si President Duterte. In fact, I've always said, kung ikaw ay abogado ni President Duterte, mahirapan ka kung anong ebidensyang ipipresent mo sa trial para sabihin wala kang kinalaman sa drug war. Talagang mahirap yun. Kasi ang dami niya ng pronouncements he made a lot of pronouncements and so on. And para sa akin, pag-trial na, kaya niya dinidelay nga ni President Duterte, dinidelay niya ng dinidelay, ayaw niya mag-trial. Reverse siya doon sa ibang mga inosente na pag nakakulong ka, gusto mo speedy trial, di ba? Para makalabas ka na. Siya, baligtad hindi tayo mag-trial. Kasi tingin ko alam niya na pag may trial, mahirapan na siya. Mahirapan siya mag-present ng evidence para ipakita na wala siyang intent. Hindi niya alam yon, wala akong kinalaman sa drug war, siya ang punot dulo ng drug war. So, pag si President Duterte ay nadiin na, yung mga ibang perpetrators, yung members, dali na sila doon because member sila nito at pinatupad nila yung plano at policy ni President Duterte.
Well, we are exactly 1 week away from the confirmation of charges hearing. That's on February 23. And former President Duterte has already been deemed fit to stand trial and is expected to attend this hearing. Attorney? What are some of your expectations and some of the expectations na rin po ng mga victims?
Well, for us, the expectation, of course, is the prosecutor will provide the arguments and the evidence to say that please confirm the charges so that trial can ensue. Kasi hindi magkakaroon ng trial pag hindi ma-confirm ang charges. The victims, of course, with the legal representatives will, of course, also argue na confirm the charges and go on to trial. Of course, we don't know how the defense will conduct itself during the confirmation hearing. We don't know what arguments it will raise, but I'm sure we're ready for it. And it has been a long time. This is the Kens lost their loved ones in 2016, 2017. It's now 2026, and we're still in the confirmation of charges. The ICC kasi gives a lot of emphasis on the due process rights of the accused. Pinagbigyan talaga, President Duterte was given a lot of these due process rights. Kaya na-delay. This was supposed to be September 2023 last year. At February 2026 na ngayon. So, kasi lagi silang motion. So, kaya ang ICC naman pinapakinggan at dinidesisyonan, yun lang, natatalo sila sa motion nila. Kasi hindi naman pwede talaga para sa amin. Hindi naman pwedeng unfit for trial. Hindi mo lang malalak mo saan mo nilagay yung susi mo Because he may not know the names of the people, the 49 victims or the 72 whatever victims. No longer, but doesn't mean you're not responsible for it. This is a widespread and systematic attack against civilians. And you claim any claim, I don't remember that incident, I don't remember the name, I don't remember the person, I was supposedly murdered, doesn't mean you're unfit for trial para sa amin. So, I guess we'll see how how it goes, because the ICC has the pre-trial chamber nag-decide na on the jurisdiction issue, nag-decide na on disqualification of so many prosecutor, judges, nag-decide na on interim release, nag-decide na on fit for trial. Sana naman, hindi naman sana, I'm very sure matutuloy talaga ang February 23 and confirmation of the long-delayed confirmation of charges will be completed hopefully in February 23, so that now we can focus on the trial itself. That's when the trial ensues. President Duterte will be the first Asian to be tried in the ICC.
And just as a final question, Attorney Neri, is there a sense of vindication, validation, especially for the victims in how the prosecution is framing and pursuing the charges against the president? And can we expect some of the victims to also personally attend some of the hearings over at The Hague?
Yes, well, of course, yes, the victims felt vindicated in a sense, and that we're seeing the hope here. It's not yet finished, it's not yet complete, pero may konting ilaw na. So that's the good thing for us, because we've been waiting for justice for nearly 10 years now. So that's a good thing, and we really hope na trial will issue, kasi doon lang naman nila malabas ang kanilang ebidensya at kanilang kwento sa trial kung paano walang awa at karumal-dumal na pinatay yung anak nila. Walang awa eh. Ngayon yung sila President Duterte pang humingi ng kawaan nyo naman kami. Maawa ka nga naman, but justice has to take its course. Ako naman, hindi naman ako cruel na klaseng tao eh. Pero hindi pwedeng. Ikaw nga, wala kang awa, alam mong awang pinatay yung mga kaanak, yung mga biktima eh. Tapos walang abogado, ikaw nga may abogado ka pa eh. Ikaw nga may pera kang mga anak mo, makakadalaw sa iyo anytime. Yung mga biktima hindi sa sementeryo na lang nila dalawin yung anak nila eh. So na lang, sana maintindihan ng lahat, this is really a battle for justice, and to make sure that this thing will not happen. This will not happen again in the Philippines. Mas yun ang message ng ICC case. It's not only for the victims, for the Filipino people also, so that we may not suffer the same kind of killings that we have suffered under President Duterte.
All right, well, we're going to leave that there, but thank you very much for sharing your insights with us this morning. That was human rights lawyer, Atty. Neri Colmenares. Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you.